They're great traders, and there are great traders that are trying to make the commodity industry better for the group itself and also for its customers. Jim, tell us about the CCC.
So the CCC was formed shortly after Halloween 2011, after Jon Corzine blew up MF Global. Basically, there was very little industry response to the unprecedented failure of that broker. And somehow at 30 years old, I wound up representing about 10,000 people pro bono through the CCC and help recover all $6.7 billion in customer funds.
It's interesting because you worked with the bankruptcy group and it didn't feel as if it was going anywhere for customers. Is it because the industry from the legal side just doesn't understand it, or they didn't know how to recover, or is it because Corzine's name was so big and because of his political influence? Why couldn't they get it done and then you step in pro bono and you make it happen and make customers whole?
Well, really all of the above. So in 200 years of commodity trading in the U.S., a customer had never been deprived use of the assets held in a segregated commodity account ever before Corzine decided to purloin about $1 billion in customer assets to cover margin call on his 30-to-1 levered trades. So that had never happened before, so people don't really know what to do. And then at the end of the day, things always come down to incentives. If you're a bankruptcy lawyer and you're billing by the hour, your incentive is to make things take as long as possible. So the original claims process put forth by the bankruptcy trustee was one where customers weren't going to get any money back until they filled out a 50-page plus claim form. They get processed. It was going to take 10 months plus. My incentives are different. Working pro bono, working on trying to get my customers and other customers their money back. My goal was to get it done as quickly as possible, and we were able to work with the bankruptcy trustee, redesign the claim process, and instead of customers getting 60% of their money after 10 months, we got $4.5 billion or 72% in 6 weeks.
So with banks, you have FDIC coverage. Do commodity customers have that type of coverage, and why not?
They have no insurance. It's something we've actually been advocating for in the CCC. We've testified before Congress on it. We've worked with the CFTC and all the self-regulatory organizations as well. There's a lot of industry opposition to it, saying it's too expensive and also that you don't need it, which is an interesting argument in the wake of MF Global.
Right.
But the argument for commodity funds are customer assets are supposed to be segregated every second of every day and then have a reserve interest from the firm itself. So even if your customers blow up, if every customer wanted their money at one second on one day, it's all payable on demand. So like in a bank, it's fractional reserve lending. A bank can lend out 10 times as much money as they have on deposit. A commodity broker can't do that.
Well, it's interesting because you can lever yourself 30-to-1, but they don't think insurance is necessary. It completely blows my mind. But what's interesting here and almost counterintuitive, you sit on the board of the Futures Association. How did that all transpire? Because you technically really are like a federal whistleblower to make it better for the customer.
Yeah, so I won a contested election, actually 2 of them now, with my partner John Rowe, who co-founded the CCC with me. His dad happens to be the only congressman who doesn't take PAC money. Honest as the day is long. But after MF Global, after the fraud at Peregrine, there was one at Sentinel, another company called Alphametrics. The industry is kind of like, enough is enough, and they wanted guys like John and I on that board to reform it, get it more focused on fighting the bad guys rather than the regulatory red tape we've seen, especially after Dodd-Frank.
So finally, this is like David and Goliath. Do you really think the efforts of you and John are really going to change an industry that's years and years old and kind of has its old boys' school mentality ways?
It's a tough fight. In a lot of ways, it's tougher than the fight in MF Global. I mean, no one thought we were going to win that. I mean, and let me tell you, it was contentious. I mean, like JP Morgan closed all my personal bank accounts and credit cards in retaliation for me advocating against them to get the customer money that they had received from Corzine back. And the fight is been almost tougher at the NFA, given that entrenchment, given the old boys, type of mentality there. But I mean, we're working on it. I mean, we're holding management accountable. I don't think we're making a lot of friends over there.
But you're making progress.
We're making progress.
All right. Thanks very much, Jim. For The Street in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino. That was great. Yes, so